You're listening to Read the Damn Book, and this is episode number 9. Welcome to Read the Damn Book podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, where I read every book of every author that I interview on this show. This is a spinoff of the Webby-nominated My Simplified Life podcast, where we go behind the scenes. I don't just want to hear about the book. I want to hear about the author, the human being behind the words that we all fall in love with. Here, you're going to hear directly from the authors what their journey through life has been like, their journey through writing their book, and some behind the scenes on every book. So let's get started and read the damn book. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, and today we're talking Self-Affirmations with Zanna Keithley. Zanna is the most beautiful person inside and out, and she is waking me up every morning with my cup of coffee and her affirmations. Her new book, Self-Affirmations, 100 Self-Affirmations for Love, is out now, and it is gorgeous inside and out as well. The cover is beautiful. The inside, the words will speak to you no matter what. So it is a definite must read. And we are talking about not only her book, her journey, but how she got into all of this meditation and self-affirmations and what this journey has looked like, taking her across the country multiple times. Hi, Zanna.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. I told you when you came on, I'm like, you're so beautiful. I'm like, beautiful on the inside and out. I'm so excited to talk to you. Can you take a moment to introduce yourself to everyone, please?
Yes, I am Zanna Keithley. I am the author of 2 books now. So the first is This Is How You Find Your Way. I self-published that one about 1.5 years ago. And then the newest one is Affirmations for Self-Love, 100 Lessons for Learning to Love Yourself Through the Beautiful Days, the Hard Days, and everything in between. And that one was just released. And that one was my first through the traditional publishing method. So it's out in bookstores and everywhere. So,
And
yeah.
don't you love what a long title that is, that you have to memorize that?
I've actually memorized it now. Yeah. But usually I just put affirmations for self-love, but I love the subtitle. Like, it's important to me. And I think it's like such an important part of it is like learning to love yourself through the beautiful days and the hard days. And what we usually live is everything in between, kind of the ebb and flow of it all. So I love the subtitle, but it's long.
And I'm enjoying it. You are with me every single morning since I
Oh.
received the book, but I couldn't wait the 100 days past because I tried to read 1 or 2 a day. And I'm like, well, if I wait until I've finished reading the damn book, then it'll be 3 months from now. So
Yes.
you are an
I love
exception
that.
to my rule.
Oh, thank you. That's how I wanted. So for this book, like I really wanted readers to be empowered to use it the way that works best for them. So it's like, if you wanted to read it front to back, do it. If you want to read 1 a day or 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, do that. Or if you just want to say, hey, universe, what do I need to hear right now? And open it to a random message of the day. Like it really works however somebody wants to read it. So that's really what I was hoping was you would actually just feel empowered to approach it the way you wanted to.
Tell me about you. How did these affirmations come? How did your writing is so beautiful because it truly, so you're combined every morning with Brianna Wiest. You are my 2
Love her.
people in the morning. And you both have this way of just, it's a calm, it's a feeding of the soul, I feel. Where did this come from? Where did you go? At what point did you go, oh, you know what? This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to write, and I'm going to put it on social media and see where it goes?
Yeah. So like a lot of people, I spent my whole life wanting to be a writer since I was 7 and went to college for it and everything. But I always assumed I would write fiction. And I went through kind of that after college of trying to write fiction and not really working and kind of just trying to figure out find my way, like with writing, what I wanted to do. And it was 2020. I started my blog, zannakeithley.com. And when I originally started, I wanted to be a blogger. Like it was mostly blogging. I focused on topics like meditation and mindfulness and self-love. And I would post affirmation posts weekly and things like that. And then Instagram and social media, I just thought would be on the side to promote the blog. And so I would just, initially on Instagram, I would just post like, here's a quote I love from another writer. And in the caption, I would write about the quote. And then in time, I found people were really resonating with the captions. And I was like, maybe I should put my words like front and center, but that's scary. That's scary as an artist and as a writer. And you're like, okay, I'm going to put my words out there for people. But in time, I got more and more comfortable and just started putting my words front and center. And I really learned a lot through that time. And I think one of the biggest things I learned is, this is a quote, it's not my quote, but it's something like, the most personal is also the most universal. So the
Mm.
more you can, we all have so many shared experiences, but we think we're alone in our experiences. And so I do, one of the most common comments I get that means a lot to me is somebody will tell me, I feel like this was written for me. I feel like this is exactly what I'm going through. And that's because everything that I write about is exactly what I've gone through, and it's exactly my life. So if you dig into this is most personal to me, it actually becomes very universal to, everybody else. And that's where I get all my inspiration and where I get everything I write is, this is what I've lived through and this is what I know. And I also think that if we're lucky in life, we get to have the opportunity to turn our greatest pain into our greatest purpose.
Mm.
Self-love has been my greatest pain my entire life. For a lot of people, I know it's similar in that I have been my own biggest bully and my own biggest critic, and not knowing how to love myself. And through my teenage years and early 20s, just trying to change myself in order to love myself, trying to mold myself into somebody who I could love, trying to achieve more. Like, okay, well, if I can get the straight A's and these degrees and I can run marathons and I can get job promotions and I can make this much money, then maybe I can learn how to love myself. And eventually you realize like, oh no, there's always going to be one more thing. Like if you keep
Mm-hmm.
doing that, you're always trying to climb the mountain. Like, nope, there's another thing. There's another thing. So I finally had to reach a point where it was like, no, none of this is working. And that's when you have to do the really hard work, which is dig within. But that's when I really turned to meditation and affirmations and all of that. And as I learned, began to share what I learned with the world, and hopefully turn my greatest pain into my greatest purpose, which is to share that with people.
I love that. And what's personal is universal. That is, I could just sit with that, and I'm going to sit with that. I'm going to, there's more to that I feel like if we shared more of that, then maybe things would be different in this chaotic mess of a world that we're living in, that we need the affirmations, everything. I feel like it gets such a bad rap for being quote unquote woo woo,
Yeah.
and even I say that. I'm like, well, I'm not woo woo, but I do this, or, every night I put my kids to bed and they each have a list of affirmations that I recite to them in order. And it's crazy long for my daughter. I am great at this, and I am good at this, and I deserve this, and I'm a good friend. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And I don't know how I continue to add to it. But I feel like it's something that we should be doing to remind ourselves that we are worthy of so much more, not only what we have, but whatever we want and dream of. We are
Yeah.
worthy of it.
Yes, I love that. I always think, okay, so I think that your life is the story you tell yourself. So I believe that two people, different parts of the world, we could live the exact same lives, the exact same ways, but we could tell completely different stories about our lives. And for me, affirmations are a way for me to take back my story and decide what story I want to tell. So I could easily, you go through the day-to-day motions and you get lost in the sauce of everyday living, and you can easily become like very critical and, feel like everything is against you. Or you can use affirmations to say, well, actually, and that's what affirmations have done for me. So I, if I approach something and say, and an affirmation is anything. So an affirmation isn't necessarily positive. Like if I say I'm a failure, that's an affirmation.
Mm.
But if you turn it around to a positive affirmation and you're saying, actually, I am confident and courageous and strong and powerful, and you keep repeating that to yourself, I actually have learned in time you don't have to repeat it anymore because it's just ingrained in you. It's just
Mhm.
part of you. And I think it really builds mental resilience. And that's what, yeah, you can call affirmations woo woo, but I actually like it builds resilience because you can say, okay, I fell. I may make mistakes, but I can rise again. I can keep going. I can find opportunities through my obstacles. And I believe that's what affirmations can do, in addition to just saying, I love myself, I am worthy. And in the beginning, when I was learning how to use them and trying to really believe I was worthy, and or something like, I deserve joy. And you're like, well, who am I to think I deserve joy? Like, that can be like that inner critic, like, who am I to think that? And I would turn it around and think, okay, well, my best friend, I believe she deserves joy. My
Mhm.
sister, I believe she deserves joy. My nieces and nephews, that random cashier I don't know, or this person I don't know, I believe they all deserve joy. So why can't I say that about myself? And I began to really turn that around and begin to help you. I guess it helps you question how you are thinking and turn your story around and really own your story. So that's why I love affirmations. And I have been sharing them on social media for over 5 years. And I hope to always share them because I believe they matter.
Did you study or attend anything to work on this, to really embrace meditation or, classes or anything like that? Or has this been a total self journey?
This has been a self journey. Years ago, a friend just recommended an app on my phone for meditation. I was working a corporate job and stressed and not enjoying anything, and they recommended the app, and I downloaded it and didn't get it. Like a lot of people, I didn't get meditation. I didn't
Hmm.
understand. Like, I'm just sitting here alone with my thoughts. Well, I can't clear my mind. Well, I can't, and so I kind of let it go for a while and then reopened the app and found there was a bunch of guided meditations. So I was like, oh, there's meditations for visualization and to manifest your life, and affirmations and loving kindness meditations, and, mindfulness, and all these different types of meditations. And through the app, just began exploring. And that's actually how I really got into, I knew about affirmations before, but for a while, they were just words on a page. I didn't quite get them. And then when I would hear the affirmations in the meditations, the guided meditations, and the instructor would tell you to really feel. If you say, I am worthy, don't just say it, but feel it. That's really what an affirmation is. It's not just the words, but it's a feeling. And when I would follow that, it was like, okay, it clicked and I got that. And so that took me on the journey. And then there was more with chakra healing and all these different things that I began to go through. And so I think meditation, I always credit that as the number one thing that helped me in my self-love journey. It helped me finally share my writing with the world. It helped me with everything, was really just that meditation and just finding the apps and finding the right teachers on the apps and kind of going through that.
I love that earlier before we started this, you mentioned that you were asked by someone how you could get such a big following with just
Yeah.
posting words.
Yeah.
But then you've also said that sharing your personal becomes the universal. And I think obviously that is why you've gotten such a huge following. And as I stalked, you introduce yourself on your social media and you kind of say, like, I don't really like to put myself out here like this. And yet, by sharing your own words, you couldn't be sharing more of yourself, I
Yeah.
feel. And it's so beautiful in that way when you really think about it, that anyone who comes to your page, yes, they're reading words, but they are literally the core of you and your soul that you are sharing with all of us. And so we know you to an extent that, I don't know if people realize how well we know you just by simply reading your words.
Exactly. It was terrifying. So before I even started Instagram, social media, my blog, anything, it took me months to even convince myself, because it is that. It's like you're most vulnerable. Like, you are putting your heart and soul out there, and it's like, can I do this? So it took me months of running, walking around the neighborhood, convincing myself I was going to do this. And then the very first day I ever posted on Instagram and my blog, I was so worked up. I posted, pressed to publish, put on my running shoes, ran 6 miles. It was the quickest, like, I didn't even know where the time went. I was so nervous because I was not a social media person. I was always just this private person that didn't want to put myself out there. And I just felt like I kept getting these nudges to do it. Um, but yeah, I think that, like, again, every single word that I posted, and especially if you read This Is How You Find Your Way, there's a little introduction about my story. but every single word in all of it is stuff that I've lived through. I have posts about grief that have, resonated with people that's because I grieved. That's because that is a universal thing that we all experience very personally, is that grief. And also a lot of what I worked on and wrote about in the very beginning was always about following your dreams and going after your dreams. And that's because I had a dream since I was 7 to be a writer. And for a long time, like a lot of people thought, oh, well, maybe this isn't meant for me. Maybe I can't do it. Maybe really only really lucky people get it. And I realized these are universal feelings. And if I share this, then hopefully it'll resonate with other people. But yeah, it's my whole my whole life is out there in a way that's scary. But that's how you are able to connect with people around the world. And I feel really lucky and grateful for that.
Was there a specific moment or time in which, after putting all of this out there, that things actually started changing and happening with your affirmations, with the meditation, with the way that you've changed your entire mindset? Where was this transformation, or was there something that specifically happened that you went, oh, it's all working? Like suddenly you woke up and you went, yep, I put in the work and now I'm actually seeing what that work has done.
Yeah. So I can give you moments both in my personal and my professional journey. My professional journey, it was really with the writing. It was, and this could be a whole nother conversation, was just 18 months of continuing to share my words. You're not getting anywhere. You're not getting anywhere. And then one day you wake up and suddenly people are finding your words and you're realizing, okay, that's working. Like somehow people are finding me and like all of that. My personal journey with self-love and all of that has been, I think nothing is linear. So again, yes, there has been definitely like you grow and you learn and you like the affirmations were working, meditation was working, and you think, oh, it's all working. And then one day you suddenly just feel terrible, but you're able to recognize that. And I think feel all your feelings and allow yourself to feel all your feelings and then, grow and build resilience from that. And so I think that I wouldn't say there was a moment, but you just realize in time, like you're speaking to yourself with more kindness. You're being like more kind and all of that with yourself. And I do think your inner world reflects your outer world. So as I was being a little more loving and feeling kinder and treating myself with kindness, you do start to see more of that in your outer world. And also just feeling more grateful and gratitude. And I do believe that there's the quote, gratitude is the foundation for abundance. Like as soon as you like start to feel that gratitude for everything, you start to receive more to be grateful for. So that was really something I began to experience through the journey too. So there's been several moments of just like recognizing like, okay, this is working. And if you really do put in the hard work and you're kind to people and you're authentic, like all of this does work.
I believe that. I hope that. I believe it, so I hope that it's
Mhm.
all right.
Yeah, I believe it too. Absolutely. Kindness, hard work, all of that.
Now, take me on this journey of, I know that you were going back and forth. At least your latest writing
Yeah.
that I was reading was that you were going on these cross-country trips and figuring out where you're going to move. And I was so intrigued. I'm like, well, where did you land? And what are we searching for? I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So this was definitely a journey. And this is part of my whole self-love journey too. When I see, near the end of 2023, I had moved to Seattle, Washington. And I had moved from Boise, Idaho, where I'd been living for several years, to Seattle, thinking, okay, this is going to be a new chapter in my life and I'm starting fresh. And I was really excited. And I ended up being a year of my whole life just falling apart around me. My health, as soon as I got there, I had some really bad health issues and had to have 2 surgeries. And I had been like an avid runner, all of this stuff. And suddenly I couldn't do anything. I was just confined to my apartment in cold, dark Seattle winter where I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any of my friends, didn't have any of my family, any of that. I was working a full-time 40-hour remote job. Was like, okay, I'm going to pour all my energy into this job. And I was still doing my writing on the side with that job. One day I show up and the company was going to shut down. So it was like, okay. And I, in that job, got to employ and hire other writers. And so that was really hard because then all of a sudden, all these writers I had to tell, I'm sorry, I don't have work for you anymore. So had my health, didn't have anybody in Seattle, lost my job. And then it just seemed like slowly all these pillars of my life just were collapsing around me in Seattle. And by the time the year was up and my lease was up, I was like, I don't know if I want to be here anymore right now, but I also don't know what I want to do. Like, I don't know what I want to do with my life at the moment. So I put all my stuff in storage and I was like, okay, I'm just going to take a few months I have three siblings. I was like, I'm going to go take a few months, visit all my siblings. And then through that, trying to figure out where I want to go next. So went to Boise in Oregon, and then one of my brothers is in Virginia. So I've been a West Coast girl for most of my life, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Virginia. And I was like, maybe I'll drive. I can do this drive to Virginia, and like I can do this. So right before I went to Virginia, though, I was like, I was very tired from the year, like that kind of deep bone exhaustion where you're just like, I don't want to do this. I can't move. I can't get out of bed. But something inside me just kept saying, if you do this trip, then the next step will reveal itself, like where you're supposed to be next. So I did the trip to Virginia. And while I was there, a few days later, I got the email from my now publisher asking about if I want to do the book. And I was like, okay. So, and then on the drive back, so I decided I was going to come back to Oregon, to the West Coast. And on the drive back, like, I had to stop the drive, stopped a few days in St. Louis, wrote my the trial stuff for the publisher, trying to get all that done, get back to the West Coast. They want to move forward with the book. So I was like, okay, well, I love the Oregon coast. So I feel like I'm going to go to the Oregon coast and write this book by the ocean. And that's what I did. I got to, from November to through February, like spent my time at the Oregon coast, wrote the book by the ocean. It was my dream. But I knew I didn't want to stay there. And again, it was just like, what's the next step? So I follow the nudges. I talk about this a lot in my writing, following the nudges. And this is literally what it looks like to me. It was, okay, well, what do I feel now? Well, I kind of feel like I want to do another cross-country trip, but this time I want to do it slower. And like, I want to really drive and see things. And so I got the idea of like, oh, maybe I want to do car camping. Like, I want to like stop and like really see things and try this. And I was terrified at first. I was like, no, I can't do this. And then I did a bunch of research and I was like, no, I'm going to do this. So I started Oregon and Boise and went through Colorado and Utah and all those Midwestern states. And then, I was born in St. Louis, up to St. Louis and Nashville, and, was going back to see my brother in Virginia. That was the end destination for that, but still didn't know where I'd be going after that. So it was literally like one thing at a time. And then this is a whole nother story, but earlier through all of that, I also had kind of a synchronous, serendipitous message where I met my boyfriend and he's in Baltimore. So started in Virginia, and then I was like, well, go up to Baltimore. And so that has been following the nudges, and just following my intuition led me there. So now I'm in Baltimore for the foreseeable future.
Oh, I love this. I knew that there was going to be more to it. I'm like, I need to find out where you have landed. And
Yeah.
you're living out my dream with the Oregon coast and writing your book.
Yeah.
Yes, please sign me up
Yeah.
for that. Send me the nudge universe to make that happen. I
Literally.
love
Yeah.
this. And I love that you car camped. We are campers. We tent camp. Yosemite was this year. We actually did two. We also did Fort Bragg, so Northern California
Okay.
coast.
Yeah.
And there, I remember in Yosemite, there were across from us these women, older women, and they were camping on their own. I was like, this is great. Like, I could, maybe when I'm older, like if everyone's gone, I can camp too. I love that you did this on your own and
Yeah.
went all around the country. Like, what a magical time for you, and to
Yeah.
have experienced this, because I think that as we're younger, we rush through things. And then looking back, I'm in my mid 40s. So looking back, you think, okay, well, what would have happened if I would have taken that extra moment to do this, to
Yeah.
listen to that nudge? Whatever we do now, you look back on, you're like, well, if I would have made this decision differently, then none of this other stuff would have happened. And
Yeah.
you've just completely lived that out. And I love
Yeah.
it.
Thank you. Yeah, I am now in retrospect very grateful, very, very grateful I had that opportunity because how often do you get that opportunity?
I've
And
never had
like,
it, so
yes. And like even like I would just so there are apps now where it says, okay, here's people talk about these are safe places to, sleep and all that. So I would go through the apps and all of that. And there I was kind of near the end of winter. So I literally would park at a place and set up in the back of my car and go to sleep and like sometimes hear the rain on the roof and all of that. And like you're by yourself. And again, through this, that is like those 2.5 weeks were like a pivotal point in my own self-love journey. Realizing I could find a home within myself during that time was probably the most important thing because I've spent my entire life, this is a whole nother thing of my dad was Coast Guard and we moved every couple years. And I always wanted to find that place that was home,
Mm.
never could. And that's part of why I've moved all over. And really, during those 2.5 weeks of just car camping and being alone, I didn't talk to anyone. And I'm not like, I'm an introvert person. So I'm not going out meeting people. Like, it's just me and me. But I learned how to make a home within myself and really also learned you don't need a lot. Like, I found more peace waking up in the car and I opening the curtains and just looking out and sometimes looking out beautiful mountains like in Utah and Colorado and like found more peace with that than having all the stuff in the world and all of that. So if anyone gets that opportunity, I fully recommend it. Like it was such an amazing, magical experience that I think changed my own journey in a really profound way. And again, this is everything I write about is stuff I live. So when I talk a lot about my following the nudges and just one step at a time, you're never going to see the whole path ahead of you. All you can do is follow that thing inside of you that says, this is the next step, and then trust that the next step after that will reveal itself. And that has been the full last few years for me, but it's led me here. And like, I wouldn't take back a single moment of the journey. Like, I'm so grateful for all of it.
It's so beautiful. And I love what you say. You can go camping that you don't have to take the full 2.5 weeks. If you're listening, and you're like, oh, that sounds
Yeah.
wonderful. Go take 2 nights. Like I
Yes.
promise you, you will feel that same experience and then want more of it. And
Yes.
you can do that. Like we have great national and state parks, everybody.
Yes.
This is something that, and I totally agree with you because we will wake up and go, isn't it funny that we choose to go camping for a week? We choose to live in a tent, to make food over a campfire when we don't have to. We have homes and we can, live our lives under a roof and stuff, but instead we choose to connect with nature in such a different way because there is something about it that talks to your soul that allows you that calm pause that we don't normally get, especially if you're driving across the country.
Yeah, exactly. I love the disconnect from everything and just like I have always been a planner. I've always known what my life was going to look like. And through that, I was like, I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I don't know where I'm going to sleep tomorrow, but I'm going to figure out and I'm going to trust my resilience and trust my ability to figure it out. And obviously safely, like I was always very safe about it, but just trusting that I could figure it out was a huge thing. And I think proving to myself that I could do it was so important and big. But yeah, I think if you can just spend a couple nights away from it all and get a different perspective, it can change your entire life. So it was, yeah.
What has it? I imagine that putting yourself out there with your words and connecting with people, you must be getting messages from strangers who were like, that didn't just speak to me, it changed my life, or it did something, or it helped me make this decision. What has that been like when you're a self-proclaimed introvert who doesn't seek out others?
Yeah.
What is that like to know that you're having this effect on people?
I don't even know how to put it in words. And I always tell people, well, they'll send me these messages. I'm like, thank you isn't enough for me. Like, I don't know how to put into words really how it feels. That is one thing, even as a writer, I can't even like encapsulate that feeling. Because you can sometimes just put things out there and put things out there. And especially on social media, you don't know if anyone's listening. You don't know if it's really having an effect on people. And I always told myself, okay, if it affects just one person, like just one person, then it's worth it. And there are days when you want to give up. And it's not like, it's just like, I don't feel like it's, especially we don't need algorithms and all that, but you just feel like, I can't win. Like, is this really worth it? I'm pouring all this energy into this, and you get that message. And it's like everything you poured out into the world is being poured back into you.
Mm.
Um, there are people that they've gone through divorces and they talk about, your words have helped me. There are people that have dealing with parents' deaths and different deaths. I had one girl who wrote to me from an eating disorder clinic, and she was using my words as her placemat for when she would eat. And I cried like that one. Really, yeah, there are no words, but I am still doing this because of those messages. Like, even if I don't know if most people know this, but as writers, we don't make a lot of money. Like, you don't do this to make money. You do this because there's no other choice. Like, for you, if you are any type of artist, I think a painter, musician, writer, whatever it is, you do it because you have no other choice, because it's your calling, because it is in your soul. So for me, that's what I receive back. It's not like you don't do it for finances. You don't do it for any of that. You do it because somehow you're making a difference in the world, even if it's very, very small. It matters. So as long as those messages come, I will keep doing it. And I just hope people know, like, that means more. Even if it's not me, if there's somebody else that really affects your right, like you sending a message to that person could be the highlight of their day, their week, their month. It could be the one thing that keeps them going when they want to quit. Like, it means more than anything.
It's so true. I say it all the time. I feel like I'm speaking into a void. When I write my Substack, I'm like, I don't know if anybody's actually paying
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
It is absolutely true that we do all of this work, and we hope and pray that maybe somebody's listening. But
Yes.
obviously people are listening, they are reading, and the work that you are doing is beautiful. It's appreciated. You have a gift, and we're so grateful that you are sharing it with all of us.
Thank you so much. I am grateful that I get to do this. Like, I don't take it for granted ever. Like, I'm grateful that somehow people are listening. And even again, if it ends up just being one person, like, I am so grateful for that one person. So yeah, I wish there was a stronger word than thank you. Like, I wish there was a way to really encapsulate that feeling and share it with people, because it means everything.
Oh, I love that. You were so beautiful, Zanna, inside and out. Like I said, I started in the beginning. You can tell someone you're heartfelt, you're a genuine person, and I appreciate that so much. And I'm so grateful that you are sharing that beautiful gift that you have with all of us. And I'm so grateful I get to share my mornings with you, even when you don't know. At 5:30 in the morning, I've got my coffee cup and you and Brianna.
I love
And
that.
yeah, it sets the tone for what I want the day to look like. So thank you for being a part of my day every day, and for sharing yourself with us. Can you share with everyone where they can find you and follow you?
Yeah. So I have zannakeithley.com, which is my website and blog, but usually Instagram.com/@Zanna is my main social media platform. I do TikTok, and I've started with YouTube and Facebook, but Instagram's the main place where I post everything. So definitely on Instagram, just at Zanna Keithley. Yeah. And then my book now is out at bookstores everywhere, wherever books
And
are
it's
sold.
beautiful. It's
So
hardcover. It is gorgeous.
it is.
It
Yeah.
is. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank
They
you
just came
so
out.
much, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for making this so wonderful. This was my first podcast. You made it so easy. So thank you.
Walking away from this interview, I want you to imagine a world in which we tell ourselves that we are worthy, that we are lovable, that we deserve joy and happiness, and that we are grateful for each and every moment that comes our way. What would that look like? I think that starting by reading Zanna's book is the perfect way to start to make that happen, because the world that we create for ourselves will have that ripple effect and will allow a more beautiful place to live. And I think right now we need that more than ever. So treat yourself to Zanna's book. Make it a part of your daily routine. I promise you, you will enjoy it as much as I am. It will put you in a good spot to start your day. And if you read it at the end of your day, then it'll make it a perfect spot to end it as well. I highly encourage you to read the damn book and to start with those self-affirmations and your journey of loving yourself as you deserve to.